going to cover one more thing today. This is interesting news, and we'll just take this as a win. This is from August 25th, proving a different world is possible. Exxon dropped from the Dow Jones after a 92-year run. Did you all hear this? That's weird. Why is it doing that? Big oil has fallen. Our job, has it really fallen? Our job is to make sure they don't take us down with them. Such, majestic declarations, but I'm sorry, but big oil has not fallen. But this is an interesting wrinkle in our current times. Climate campaigners on Tuesday marked a major milestone in the fight to eliminate the use of fossil fuels and transition to a green energy economy as ExxonMobil was dropped from the S&P Dow Jones Industrial Average after nearly a century. The oil giant, the oldest member of the Dow, was replaced on the index by software company Salesforce as more than 100,000 people were displaced by wildfires raging across California. A third year of global Fridays for Future climate action protests kicked off, and the Republican Party was rebuked for failing to even mention the planetary emergency on the first night of its national convention. The finance world, 350.org executive director May Bove said, has been forced to wake up and cut ties with these climate criminals. Big oil has fallen, Bove said. Our job is to make sure they don't take us down with them. Fossil fuel companies like Exxon knew and lied for decades about the main cause of the devastating impacts we're now experiencing across the globe. From fires, storms, and floods to droughts and rising seas, we are rising up to make polluters pay for their destruction. Bill McKibben, co-founder of 350.org, credited climate campaigners who have spent decades educating the public about the climate crisis and dangerous effects of extracting fossil fuels from the earth and demanding a transition to renewable sources of energy like solar and wind power. Here's a tweet from Bill McKibben. As recently as 2011, Exxon was the biggest company on earth. Now it's been booted from the Dow Jones Index. Thanks to all who have helped. In April, oil prices fell below $0 per barrel for the first time on record, prompting calls by climate action advocates to nationalize the oil industry rather than continuing to prop it up. Yeah, that would be really awesome if either party was interested in doing that, and they are not. They are not. Bernie Sanders wanted to do that, but the Democratic Party is beholden to its donors, and so they absolutely made sure, they did everything in their power to make sure that Bernie Sanders was not the nominee. Why? Because they're beholden to their donors, just like the Republican Party. Meanwhile, the solar and wind sectors, but that would be really awesome if we nationalized the oil industry and then just dissolved it. And maybe confiscated their loot. Meanwhile, the solar and wind sectors have grown at a rapid rate in recent decades, with job growth in the renewable field outpacing oil. Exxon's deep fall today is another powerful reminder of how fossil fuels are too volatile to be the basis of a resilient economy, said Bove. It is past time for Exxon to recognize that it is not only one of the most responsible for the climate crisis, but also that its assets are quickly becoming stranded as we move towards more sustainable, resilient, and regenerative economic systems based on renewable, accessible, and just energy sources. She sounds very optimistic, and I'm happy about that. I feel like we have to be, optimistic is fine. I feel like we need to be realistic as well. A poll taken last year by Business Insider found that a majority of Americans favor transitioning away from fossil fuels and towards renewable energy sources, and aligned with other recent findings by Gallup. 7 oil companies have downgraded their assets by at least $87 billion in the last 9 months, while more than 1,200 institutions representing more than $14 trillion in assets have committed to fossil fuel divestment. None of this is to say Exxon is officially done for, or that it doesn't still hold massive power, wrote Brian Kahn at Earther. A company worth $175 billion with its tentacles latched onto the Republican Party is still a formidable foe. It's latched onto the Democratic Party too, Brian Kahn. Oh, Jesus Christ. The Democratic Party just took their pledge to stop subsidizing fossil fuel companies out of their platform. Why? Because they're still beholden to them. It's not just the Republicans. Please, 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 please. Stop with this false dichotomy. But it does show a different world is possible. Fingers crossed the Dow Jones can get Chevron out of there next. Anyways, this is somewhat good news. We'll take this as a win. If you are climate aware or concerned about the climate or concerned about climate change. Hey guys, remember to like, share, and subscribe. And you can support the channel with the links below. PayPal, Patreon, Square. Also, if you'd like to watch the live streams, you can watch the live streams on my Patreon channel. You can subscribe for as little as $1. So hopefully I will see you over there, and thanks so much.